It's the 19th of the 3rd, 2025. This Maximilian Verstappen leaving Red Bull story needs to be taken seriously. I've never heard more people of consequence talking about it as if it's an eventuality. Now the most probable outcome. Here's what we know. Last year at the FI Drivers Press Conference, Max was asked 3 times, are you going to see out your contract that expires as at 2028? Twice, Max Verstappen tried desperately to dance around the subject topic. Only on the 3rd time, when his hand was forced, Max Verstappen being nothing if not a true-sayer, did he say, I will see out my contract. Red Bull are like a family and I can't see myself in F1 if not I'm not racing for that team. And I concur, Maximilian Verstappen. For I can't even imagine Max in red overalls or black overalls of the boys and girls from Black Brackley and Brixworth, or even papaya coloured ones. Oh, the humanity. I feel like I'm living in the Matrix, trying to envision it even. Most recently, we find out that there were contract negotiations, not with Aston Martin, but with Mercedes, twice last year. Once over the course of the summer break, and then once as at the Miami Grand Prix. Over the course of that weekend, Toto, the boy who cried wolf, sat down with Team Verstappen, father of Max, Jos, and so too Max's manager, one Raymond Vermeulen. And then we get the 1 billion contract offer from Aston Martin, Adrian Newey at the helm, so too the money, the cash roll of one Lawrence Stroll. And that's to be taken seriously. Honda are over there. Andy Cowell is over there. They're trying to get to where they're trying to get to. Lawrence Stroll has told us that when he gets passionate about something, he wants to win. Now, today, we see Zak Brown in an interview with the Telegraph even talking about it. And context is even more key here. We know that Zak Brown doesn't like Christian Horner. They are beefy, if anything. You saw the back and forth. Zak Brown saying that he wants to make Christian Horner break during the Drive to Survive episode. And then Christian Horner last year said that he wants to sign George Russell potentially, that there are not lots of young, hungry lions that Red Bull could sign. Then Christian Horner says if he's going to sign one of Oscar or Lando, he would sign Oscar. They're circling around each other now. These two are dogs barking at each other from opposite sides of the fence. So you've got to take this in that context. Maybe this, what I'm about to read to you, is Zak Brown just jousting, jabbing at his old mate Christian Horner. However, in that light, in this interview with one Tom Curry of the Telegraph, Zak Brown insists that the beef between them is real. He says, quote, it's genuine between me and Christian Horner. There's no love lost there. I don't like how he rolls, and no doubt he feels the same way about me, but I think it's good for the sport. This difference, you need different characters, you need these rivalries. Some are friendly sporting rivalries, some are a bit more vicious. It's been like that for quite a while now. That's Zak Brown. And again, when we get to the issue of one Maximilian Verstappen, Tom Curry of the Telegraph writes thus: Brown promptly lands another punch on his rival's nose when I ask about Oscar Piastri's multi-year contract extension, which was announced earlier this week. Was he not tempted to wait and see whether Max Verstappen will be on the market? After all, there has been so much talk about the 4-time world champion, some say soon to be 5, being unsettled at Red Bull. And this matters because Max Verstappen said already that there were conversations held between Team Brown, Team McLaren and Team Verstappen, but they didn't last too long because the money, the number that Team Verstappen pitched at McLaren was far too vast, said Max Verstappen. Raymond Vermeulen, manager of Max Verstappen, hung up the phone promptly. To that, Zak Brown, per the Telegraph, says as follows: oh, I think Max will leave Red Bull at the end of the year. What are we doing, chat? This is Zak Brown talking, not your boy Cameron CC, a very noddy B-spec F1 mind, talking now about Max Verstappen leaving Red Bull, not in 2028, Not in 2026. At the end of 2025, what are we doing? Zak Brown expounds, saying, quote, most likely to Mercedes. What? What are we doing? This is more chaotic than I can manage. There's been more talk. There's been talk even of Aston Martin 2 with Adrian Newey joining. But as great as Adrian is, and he's the greatest airbender, the last airbender ever, you need a whole team around you. You need the culture. And that takes time. If I were a betting man, I would bet on Mercedes, because in the last 10 years they've won the championship 7 or 8 times. Last year they won 5 races. They have stability. We know Toto likes him, and I think we feel all of HPP, Mercedes High Performance Powertrains, is best equipped on the power unit side heading into the new engine regulations next year. Chat, there it is. Prosecution rests, no further questions. You're on a new full stop, new paragraph. Let me read that out again as I'm consuming this in real time. Zak Brown says, if I were betting, I would bet on Mercedes because of the powertrains, because of stability. This is him telling us he thinks Max Verstappen is going to bounce at the end of this year and go to Mercedes. Oh, and by the way, as if that were techie enough. Look at this. Here's what Christian Horner said in an interview with Motorsport. And again, it's been celebrating 25 years or whatever of his anniversary as team principal at the Bulls that are red. In that, he celebrated Max Verstappen's not insubstantial achievements, saying how instrumental Max is to his tenure and the success at the Bulls that are red, talking about Dietrich Mateschitz and risk. But there's a couple of questions that I want to draw, and responses therefore, that I want to draw your guys' attention to. The question comes thus from the guys and girls over at motorsport.com. It was your decision together with Helmut and Dietrich to pursue your own power units for 2026. It was a gamble. Is there a little bit of stress for you there? Christian Horner responds as thus. As Dietrich would always say, no risk, no fun. The size of the team we have, the competitiveness that we have, we couldn't be dependent on a third-party supplier who could withdraw at any point if indeed they changed their mind. And so very much it's taking control of our destiny. The shareholders have been tremendously supportive with this, and the investor. Of course, it's a project that's not without risk and its challenges, but that's what Red Bull has never been afraid of taking on. No kidding, Sherlock. This is a challenge, and this might ultimately lead to the jewel in your crown, the one that they call Maximilian Verstappen, for some say soon to be 5-time champion, leaving the bloody team. Oh, and by the way, Christian Horner agrees with this, that it comes with risk, potential, downside of material consequence. The bookend question is worded thus. We are all wondering, asked Motorsport magazine, what Max's plans are. He has a contract till 2028, but at this stage of his career, he doesn't necessarily want to be part of a project that suffers from growing pains. Christian Horner, chat, responds as follows, and this is where it gets techier than techie things. I think he believes in and buys into the project. I think. Salient words, right? That's there's the operative ones. Horner continues, there's no guarantees, however, for anybody in 2026. That's what's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Chat, if you read between the lines here, is that not an admission from Christian Horner? I'm going to read it out again because this is important now. I think he believes and buys into the project, notwithstanding all the while, if word on the F1 curb is something in which you're invested. Max Verstappen has issued and been very vocal about his concerns about the Red Bull Ford powertrain project. Horner continues, there are no guarantees for anybody in 2026. That's what's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Listen, you can take this one to the bank. I don't think 2026 kicks off. And again, unless Red Bull manage to sort out their RB21 car and get it a lot closer to that MCL39, unless those things happen, I don't think Max Verstappen stays at the balls that are red through to 2026. That's Zak Brown telling us that he's going to move to Mercedes. And I think you can take those words from Christian Horner, man who's closest to the circumstance than anyone else. I think you can interpret, if indeed you want to read between the lines, Christian Horner's agreeing with his arch rival, the one that they call Zak Brown. Max Verstappen, Mercedes, 2026. Oh, the humanity.